My dear friends, our gospel text is from Matthew chapter 5, from verse 13 to 16. And continues the teaching of Jesus on the Sermon on the Mount with emphasis on salt and light. The theme is, you are the salt of the earth and the light of the world. My goal is to explain the symbolism of salt and light within the context of the passage. There are two preliminary remarks to make. The first is that by saying to the disciples that they are the salt of the earth and the light of the world, Jesus emphasizes the role of the disciples within the society. By being the salt and the light, the focus is no longer on the law or the temple as it is in the Old Testament. The focus now is on the disciples. In other words, Jesus is implying that it's no longer the law or the temple that will be considered as light or salt. It is the disciples. The second point is that the disciples are not only salt and light to Israel, but in fact to the ends of the earth, in other words, the whole world. This is consistent with their mission as recorded in chapter 28 of Matthew's Gospel, verse 8 to 20, where Jesus instructs them to go to the ends of the earth and proclaim the good news. My dear friends, the symbolism of salt is known to all. Salt in ancient times, as it is today, is a valued commodity. The Romans, in fact, used to say that there is nothing more useful than sand and salt. Salt is known for preservation. From Leviticus chapter 2, verse 13, we read that salt is an essential requirement for all sacrifices. The cleansing and the hygienic power of salt is also alluded to as Elisha sprinkled the polluted water with salt to cleanse it, as recorded in 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 20-21. There are three deductions to make per the reflection on the symbolism of salt. The first is that just as salt is a valued commodity, so are the disciples of Jesus. Every disciple must appreciate the value tag placed on him or on her by Jesus. The second point is that just as salt is used for preservation, so must the disciples of Jesus preserve their families and communities. The disciples of Jesus must live such that the virtues practiced will preserve the community from destruction. The mission of the disciples is to live and save, and not to live and destroy. The third is that just as salt cleanses, so must the disciples of Jesus focus on deeds that cleanse and purify the society. In short, just as salt enhances food, the disciples of Jesus must live such that they can enhance life and the life of the community. My dear friends, Jesus goes on by telling the disciples that you are the light of the world. In the Old Testament, Israel was considered as the light to the world. Again, in the Old Testament, Jerusalem was considered as the light. So also the temple of Jerusalem. Jesus himself says that I am the light of the world. From this, Jesus telling the disciples that you are the light of the world. The focus is now on the disciples of Jesus, who now become the light of the world. The point is that as a lamp gives light and shines, so must the disciples of Jesus live, such that they will show the way for others to see. My dear friends, to become salt of the earth or light of the world, we must go back to the Beatitudes. When we are able to live by the Beatitudes, then we become the salt of the earth and the light of the world. Let us remember that evil thrives when good people do nothing. Being the salt and light is a call to action. The preservation of the society and the guidance that our society needs depends on the disciples of Jesus. May God bless us all. Amen.